What can I do you for, officer?
Right. Do you believe that this motor vehicle is fit for highway use?
Oh, I think that she's had some miles on her. But she's still good for a few rides yet.
I'm just having a laugh. What's this? 68.
I can tell you're a man who appreciates the classics.
Yes, well, yes. Yes. Oh, yes, ID. Very important at the border. ID security. Yes, well, Mr. Edward. Oh, I'd be remiss not to ask, what is your purpose here in England?
I have heard from afar the glories of your nightlife, and I intend to paint the town red.
Well, that does seem good enough for me. There you go. Be on your merry way. Just, you'll find that here in London we are quite welcoming. That's not the problem. That'd be none of my business for me to judge, because I'll tell you, that would be very inappropriate of me. Unless there's anything else, you can be on your way.
Thank you, officer.
You too, love.
Let him come. Bring Johnny Bond in, and I will kill him.
And we're going live in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello. That's the sound of the weekend. I am your host, Aaron the Intern. I'm hosting now. And producing with me, as always, in studio is Sound Guy Edward, who is a sound guy. I fulfill my legal obligations. Draw your own conclusions. Are we good?
We're good, man. How does it feel to be sitting in the big chair?
Feels pretty damn good. Gotta be honest. It's still warm
Is
from
it?
Steven's ass.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. How does your seat feel over there?
it's a small chair. Small boy.
Small boy.
Yeah,
Just be careful of the AIDS.
that's right. Right.
So, we are hosting tonight, and I just feel wrong doing this, you know? I feel like
Why? Why should you?
they're not here.
They didn't invite us.
That's true. But at least we got Hopper.
We have the control.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Hopper. Hopper. What are you growling, bud? No. Hopper, no. Sit. Hopper, no. Oh! Oh, my God! Oh! Oh! Oh, my God!
It's June, which marks Louder with Crowder's second annual Cultural Appropriation Month. This week, we explore the majestic, beautiful, and surly culture of Ireland.
So, this is actually a show live from Ireland. Glad to have you.
Big
With me
show.
in not video studio this time, actually live from a pub in Ireland, in Ennis, Ireland, is Jared, who is not gay. Follow him on Twitter at NotGayJared. Me at S. Crowder with your questions, comments, or your photoshops. Always the photoshops. I fulfill my legal obligations, starting conclusions. It's Ireland. Ireland. Cultural Appropriation Month.
Aye.
Because to learn about other cultures and to appropriate it is to appreciate Irish cultures. By the way, for those wondering, Not Gay Jared is dressed as a potato Free round for anyone who hits the potato. We wanted to see how long it would take for him to get his ass kicked. So that is an open invitation to anyone at this pub in Ireland. Listen, we don't know what will happen here. Could go well, could go horribly. We are here actually for, we can say that now, for one of the Santorum daughters' weddings, Senator Santorum. We had to come out here. We said, well, let's broadcast a show because we don't take days off work.
We don't do it. We don't. Stephen.
That's a horrible. It's almost as bad as mutton chops. I don't think these mutton chops are going to last very long, by the way. We visited Ireland. Beautiful countryside. Beautiful topography, obviously. Went to
In fact, here's a quick shot of.
Here's actually us going to the cliffs. What is it? Mordor? Just watch.
I'll Google it later.
There's a castle. There's that. That's where Koopa keeps Princess Peach.
So there you go. Not always as good as you expect them to be.
It's not exactly Google image perfect.
I know. Because I saw it now, I have no desire to see Stonehenge. Because I feel as though I'll be disappointed. So listen, we're in Ireland, and as you know, I've been concerned about going to Europe for a long time. We've had invitations.
As anyone, sensibly.
But Ireland was one of the few places we've talked about that we said, okay, it's pretty safe. Ireland, obviously, is not necessarily, wasn't for a long time a hotbed for any kind of terrorism. We'll be talking with some of the locals here about the recent events that have occurred and the radicalization that's happening in Ireland. There's kind of a cultural shift. There's a bit of a political divide in Ireland that's interesting now that didn't really exist not too long ago.
No. Even just today, I've seen articles coming out talking about the shift in Islamic immigration, how they're trying to radicalize people here.
Yeah, I can't do this. Go ahead. Continue.
And just today on Yahoo, front page.
Front page. Was that Yahoo Ireland?
No, it's just Yahoo.
About Ireland?
Yeah.
And you know they'll
Gmail.
probably have that picture framed that they were mentioned on Yahoo here somewhere in the near future. Because that's an event. That's an event for them.
It is.
Good for you. Let's try and build some momentum with that. So we'll be talking with some locals here at the pub. Listen, a lot of people now know that one of the London terrorists was radicalized, spent a lot of time in Ireland. In Dublin. Spent a lot of time in Dublin. And there have been some real cultural changes, and there are some people here at the pub who right away came up and where we were from and wanted to blame the atrocities of Donald Trump on us, as well as the Vietnam War. They just, some people have perceptions of Americans that aren't necessarily accurate. And I think maybe we have some perceptions of some people from Ireland that aren't accurate, people from the UK. So it'll be interesting to kind of get down to it and see what it is that they believe.
Yeah.
And see what it is that most people here think about, freedom of speech and sort of the political correctness run amok. There was an interesting poll actually recently in Ireland. 65% of Irish people, when asked, said they don't think any speech should be banned. Even if it's offensive.
Even if it's offensive.
And what's crazy is they do have protected free speech in their constitution, but there are anti-blasphemy laws.
He's talked about that with, I can't remember her name, but Renee Gorman.
Renee Gorman,
from
Australia.
A lot of countries seem to have that. Seems to be kind of a trend of free speech, except this.
Yeah, except that's just a little subtext, which it's either absolute or really it's of no value. So, all right, let's bring in some locals from Ireland. So we have no idea how this will go. Hey, what about the lady? You want to come on over? Come on. You've been a lively one. Come on, everyone here wants you to come on at the show.
Everyone wants it.
Just come on, sit down, and we'll chat with you. Yeah. Yes. Come on over. We have the lady from. We have Home Alone. If you saw Home Alone 2.
She finally let the birds go.
She finally let the pigeons go. So let's bring her in. Okay, there we go. All right. Round of applause for what's your name? Well, you need to get here. We can't see you. Yeah, you gotta. Oh, hold on. I won't bite. Come in closer. I gotta bring you in a little closer. There we go. Yeah. Okay, well, did I miss the name?
Did you miss
what was the name?
Molly Maloney.
Molly Maloney. Okay, there you go. She's putting on the mutton chops. There you go. You know what? Not bad. You could give Bruce Jenner a run for his money.
Let's talk about it now.
Well, I saw you smoking the e-cigarettes, so that's allowed in the bars here?
When I get home, I'll smoke another cigarette.
But will it be an e-cigarette?
No.
Okay, let's ask Molly Maloney. Now see, whoa, geez, these stools are small. How small are you people in Ireland?
Your ass is so big.
Oh, jeez. You have no idea how deep that goes.
She's so perceptive.
She's unbelievably receptive. No more. Let's cut her off after the next Guinness. So we came in here. What are your perceptions actually of Americans? When you think of people from the United States of America, what do you think of? How do you think of Americans?
After meeting you?
No. Before meeting me.
Oh, before meeting you, it was lovely.
Okay, I knew this is exactly what was coming. But when people in Ireland, when they think of Americans, what do they generally think of friendly people? Do they think of brash people? Do they think of loud people?
I suppose I lived in America a couple of years ago.
You lived in America?
Yeah.
Okay, whereabouts?
New Jersey.
You sound like you're making this up as you go along.
No,
You're like,
I'm not.
New Jersey.
Come back here. No, I didn't. I lived in New Jersey. I cycled all around Missouri, which is
I'm sorry.
Missouri.
I live
Yeah,
there.
I was going to say,
Sure.
of all the states, New Jersey and Missouri. It's like, I'm going to end up
I'm not
in
kidding.
Hackensack and St. Louis. Did you visit Detroit?
No, I don't drive.
Okay. So you were there for a couple years?
I did. And then I went to San Francisco.
Okay.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Really, you liked it?
Oh, I loved it. I lived in Ennis all my life and I was as gay as a Christmas tree. Went to San Francisco. Freedom. Freedom.
So you mean, because gay stateside. So do you mean gay? How are we saying gay? Because San Francisco comes with a connotation.
Happy. Homosexual.
All of the above?
Yeah.
Okay, there's so San Francisco would make sense. Well, you know, Bill Burr says Boston, very Irish. Boston is just kind of like a racist San Francisco.
Baston.
Baston?
Baston.
Is that how you pronounce it? Not Boston. Baston.
Baston.
No, I was speaking English. So we'll with Americans. What was it? So you went there. What did you expect when you went out to the United States, and what did you encounter?
I encountered just such a good time, you know.
You did?
They're lovely. You're lovely.
Oh, thank you. Stop.
You're all lovely.
You're lovely too, aside from the fat ass comment. But I'll.
No, well, you know, if it.
I have a fat ass.
It's weird.
If the giant underwear
What?
fits.
Come here till I tell you. Come here till I tell you. It's all gone awry now, though.
Is it? Okay. So what's the political perception of America now, or the cultural perception abroad?
Well, I don't think it'd be very good in Europe, would it?
You mean someone like a Donald Trump?
Or Donald Duck.
Or Donald Duck? Yeah. Well, you know that's.
Turn his head upside down. He's the same character.
We have Brexit in the UK. There are a lot of parallels there, right? So it's not like this is completely foreign to Europe. And Donald Trump, a lot of people would say, is kind of a symptom of that. How do you view that?
Oh, sorry. I'll take these off
That's
for a
okay.
minute.
You can keep them on. It doesn't.
I'm Irish, actually. So, you know, Brexit and whatever, and England. We've always had this little thing going on with us.
Yeah.
We've tried to repair it a bit.
Yeah.
Now we've a bit of ISIS going on.
Well, I was going to
Our
say.
borders may be-
Just a bitch of ISIS.
No, I'm dead serious. Our borders may be locked tighter now because of situations that have happened as regards London, and one of the terrorists been found that had an address in Rathmines in
Yeah.
Dublin. This is really serious for us
Yeah.
as Brexit comes about.
Well, here's one thing.
It
Ireland is
really
one of the few places that didn't take a lot of refugees, refused more than they let in. And there's been a lot more radicalization. A lot of people don't know this in Ireland with younger Muslims.
You've been here. Have you walked around this small town?
Yeah, we've been walking around quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay, so you see how many multi-denominations are
Right.
in the town.
Yeah. So would you support them now being stricter and a little tighter on security, or do you think that's a sad kind of outcome?
We're Irish. It's very hard to pin us down on. I think on that.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pin us down on that because we've been everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We've done this. We've done that. We've been everywhere.
Yeah.
But for the safety of everybody's future, I think we need to be a little bit more careful.
You think you need to be a little stricter, maybe a little more choosy?
No, I said careful.
Well, careful, but careful means stricter. As far as listen, let's be honest. You have to examine. You have to root things out.
In Ireland, it's strict enough.
Right.
You know.
So let me ask you this. Can you see, because a lot of people talk about it stateside, sort of Donald Trump and the wall, this idea. But because we've had this issue in the United States, and we effectively have open borders where there's no way to monitor people who are coming in, do you think understanding, now experiencing this in Ireland, maybe the Irish people might have more sympathy for Americans saying, you know what, we need to put a lockdown on this and know who's coming in and going out?
I think that America has so many different ethnic minorities in it that have settled,
Right.
have added to everything that is over.
Including the Irish.
Including the Irish, but I'm talking about everybody. They've all done something.
Yeah.
We all need to find out who are the people that are doing nothing.
Right. Yeah.
People need to keep things safe.
Yeah. And so for America or Ireland.
In Ireland with all these bombs and all this shit going off everywhere.
Right.
We've lived here. Now other people are seeing it, and that's not right.
Right.
It isn't right. It's a load of shit.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm interested to hear that. It seems like.
Children out on the street. Why can't you? I go to Manchester tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going into a city that is suffering with everything that it's just put up with.
Right.
And somebody asked me, do you want to go into the city centre? I said, sure I do. And I'll be wearing an Irish colour when I go in there to say, I'm supporting Manchester.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But how they get around this, you're making me a bit cross now. How they get around this, I don't know.
I know, it's.
But the world needs to be a better and safer place. But we have all these things, social media, all these things.
Yeah.
Do you think they're helping the world? Even though I'm on your microphone.
Social media. Well, I think it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
I think it's a double-edged sword.
absolutely.
I think it allows
It's
people
a
like
kind of a catch-22 situation.
Because this conversation can reach more people than will be seen in traditional news or media,
Okay.
And it can be organic and unedited and raw.
Okay.
And then on the flip side, people can be more disconnected than ever and just lie, and then it
Absolutely.
catches on like
Absolutely.
wildfire, or radicalized terrorists.
I mean, your friend is dressed up as a potato.
I know, isn't it? I mean,
These are true things.
No one can tell us he can't.
Mr. Spud. Can you see Mr. Spud, everybody?
Well, like we said, there's
what I can.
still a free round for whoever hits him.
He's a spud from the famine. He looks like a sad, what you call him, things he have.
Homosexual is not the word you're looking for, right?
No, good God, no. No.
Well, many use that for him.
He looks like a sad pumpkin.
It looks like a sad pumpkin.
But then
In other
again,
words, a potato.
It's June,
Yes.
so he must be.
Yeah, potatoes are sprouting. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we have some other people we're going to bring on as well, but I appreciate you giving us your point of
The
view.
other crowd are very rowdy.
Yeah, I know. Well, you've got a Scotsman and you got a Welshman right there.
Oh, the Welsh, the Scots
They're already
are
fighting.
boxing.
Yeah, I know.
Come here, we're all going watching
Just glass
the
going
Lions,
everywhere.
rugby match in the
Okay.
morning. Get up, everybody. 8:30 in the morning, get cracking.
All right, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Can I keep your pipe?
You can't. That's an actual Peterson authentic Irish pipe, and it's expensive.
You mean a meerschaum?
No, that's not a Meerschaum, but that's Peterson. They're made in
Okay,
Dublin.
can I-
You can keep the mutton chops. You can keep the mutton chops.
No way, I'm joking.
No, you can keep them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you are
Bye,
darling.
everybody.
Bye, everyone. Here in the Irish pub, getting opinions, learning a lot. It's interesting to hear
Should've got
that.
Hillary.
Is your house on fire?
I don't know. Is your house on fire? All right, so now we're bringing someone younger. What is your name, sir? Stephen. Stephen. All right, Stephen, nice to meet you. So this was interesting. This is, that when we picture people from Ireland, that's not far off.
Yeah, well, this is Clare, so it's Ennis, it's only a town.
Yeah.
So we're from Limerick, which is one of the cities of Ireland.
Yeah.
So there'd be Dublin, Galway, Cork, and Limerick. So it's a bit different there.
What she was just talking about, she said should have gone Hillary. I find that interesting. Should have gone Hillary, but she just said, yeah, we need to make ourselves safer. We need to know what's going on. We need to know who's coming in and out. Seems like I don't know if it's because the left-right shift hasn't occurred here in Ireland, but there's a disconnect between what people want, which is freedom of speech. If you look at the polls, actually Ireland is a more free market economy than the United States in a lot of ways. And now people are saying, well, we need to crack down on radicalism, but then saying, Hillary.
Yeah, I think it's all due to the media here in particular, because you won't hear any right-wing sort of media here. So everything like RTE, if you're on the radio, so RTE, Today FM, Spin Southwest, everything that they report on is all. There's no mention of Trump in a positive sense in any way, even if he did something right.
Yeah.
So everyone here, unless you look it up yourself, would be on, oh, you should have voted Hillary because Trump's a sexist, Trump's a racist, he doesn't like Muslims, he doesn't like Mexicans, he doesn't like women, and they'll take it all because they'll see it on Facebook, or they'll hear it on RTE, or they'll hear it wherever, and they'll just take it as fact because that's nobody really cares.
Do you think there's, I know you're here with your friends and you're kind of more right-leaning, we were talking, do you think there's almost a disconnect where generationally younger people are starting to lean more that way because they've been raised in such sort of a bastion of liberalism? Because from our generation, we're a little older. When we were raised, it was just like era of George Bush, so everyone went super liberal. Now Generation Z is kind of going the other way. Do you feel in Ireland that you guys are kind of growing, or are you just outliers in a whole bunch of colleges filled with leftists?
I don't know. I mean, my parents are probably older than a lot of people's parents. My parents have been in their 60s, and they would have been very Christian very conservative, and I think most people's parents here, maybe not a lot of them, would be liberal. I think most people, even I've been talking to people in college I've been speaking to about this kind of stuff, a lot of people don't care. So it's not really mainstream yet, but if you ask them, they would lean left either way. They won't. They'll just take it on board that Donald Trump is bad.
But do you think they'd lean left? Like, for example, if you ask them about, okay, do you support freedom of speech here? Or what do you think about, obviously the recent terrorist being spending a lot of time in Ireland with, these mosques going up, people being more radical. Do you think they would actually answer left on those questions? Because we just saw there, even someone who's vote Hillary was far more right on a lot of individual questions. And I've experienced that a lot in my time here in Europe.
I think the majority of people, if you ask them here, would say that, and it's because they're getting it from the media, that the attacks have nothing to do with the religion. They'll say that, even though they'll say that we need free speech, say whatever you want, but it's all to a point. So it's free speech, say whatever you want. For example, I'd be on Twitter, and even just yesterday it was trending, it was hashtag feminists are everywhere. So, and everyone I spoke to was Irish, so I said, I just asked questions like, why, give me one reason why we need feminism in this country. And the hostility I was met with was crazy.
Do they say you have a fat ass and make fun of you sitting on a stool?
No, I didn't say that, but they would call me, before I even said anything about women whatsoever, it was just, you're a misogynist, you're a racist. I think that's kind of just the way it's picked up in Ireland. It's the same. It's free speech to a point.
And that's your dame over there, right?
That's my girlfriend.
That's your dame over there. And is he a sexist? Is he a misogynist? No,
I mean, I have 4 sisters, I have 6 nieces, and my girlfriend.
He doesn't slap you around. There's no 50 Shades of Grey against your will? No.
Okay. So it's just, that's the way it's viewed upon in Ireland, where a lot of people who speak to probably don't care, but they would take, because that's the way it is in the media, they would take feminism, Islamophobia as fact, all these things as fact, without even looking it up, because that's what's talked about in RT2FM. It's just, if they report on these attacks, like the Manchester attack, there's no mention. They won't tell you that it was a religion. They'll just say that it was an incident that happened in Manchester. They'll leave out the fact that, or London that happened on Saturday, they'll cleverly edit it, all the stories and the interviews with people where they don't mention the fact that the boys were saying, this is for Allah, or there's none of that, or Allah Akbar.
Do you think, how much of that do you think has to do with, we were talking about this, there's a blasphemy law here in Ireland that was put into effect. Do you think most people even know about that you can actually be arrested, you can be charged for blaspheming? And of course, anything, so if you say, well, a lot of people don't understand this. If you say, I don't believe Muhammad is a man who he claims he was, which is the messenger of God, is to blaspheme against Islam. So it comes down to who is the judge of what is blaspheming or hate speech, whatever it is. How many people do you think are even aware of that in Ireland?
I wasn't aware of it until the Stephen Fry, did you hear about that? That was where it came up, where Stephen Fry criticised God. It was an Irish interview. Yeah. And that's where it all came up, and he got off it in the end. Well, I wasn't aware of it. I don't know how many people were. I assume people...
And he's far left.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's far left. He's kind of culturally left, and I think standing up sort of with the freedom of speech, I think it's forced him to become...
Yeah, I guess he's some of that.
He's pretty far left.
Yeah, but I think in this country they're trying to get rid of all... They want to get away from the Catholicism and the Christianity. I think they want to separate that totally, where they take away... They don't want to protect that anymore. Right. I don't think so, from things I've seen, where they want to take away from the whole Christianity and the separation of church and the state. But if you're in school, they won't. You'll be Christianity be on the chopping block all the time. Where there's nothing wrong with that, but any mention of... It's
interesting though, because abortion is completely illegal in Ireland. It's the only place where that's the case, and that's because they recognize the individual rights of personhood, to the unborn. Where do you see that going? Because that's obviously deeply rooted in the Catholic, faith in the history here in Ireland.
Well, that's another thing I'd be on board with. I'd be pro-life. I'd be totally against the abortion. I mean, my father goes around and he canvasses for Save the Eighth. So he goes around to houses and he knocks and he talks to people, and they would say, some people tell him to just go away. So, but they had a thing, and it was March the 8th, so it was International Women's Day. Everywhere, but in Ireland they did a thing where they strike for repeal. Mm-hmm. So they
topless.
They go topless?
No, I don't think so.
Do they have pussy hats on like we had in the States?
Not yet, thank God.
Disappointing.
They took the day off work. Just took the day off work.
Most of them don't work.
Yeah, most of them don't work. A lot of them probably didn't. But then people were encouraging the women to take the day off work. And then on Twitter, there's this, I don't know if you've ever heard of a group called the Rubber Bandits.
No.
Yeah, so they're like kind of a...
It sounds like a Home Alone 3.
Yeah, they're kind of a comedy thing, but I saw them tweet that men should go out and support the women for repeal the strike for appeal and take the day off work as well. And I said,
They sound hilarious, by the way, for a comedy
I know,
duo.
right? And then I said, that's well and good for you to say. I was like, but I said you should change your names to the White Knights. And I was like, you're
I guess they got mad.
like the media. Like I was like, it's all well and good to tell men to take the day off work. You don't have to work hard. Like, and sure, I got criticised for that as well. But
Well, that's what happens when it's Twitter. Twitter's not real life. Hey, speaking of comedy, we appreciate you taking the time, Stephen. I think we have to get the Scotsman in here because he's had a few. All right, hey. Come on, Scotsman, you got to get in here, right? We need a. Oh, come on now. You were just shadow boxing in the corner there. He was shadow boxing. He was getting ready. It was like that scene with Hurricane, Denzel Washington in the prison. All right, there we go. All right, you represent. Oh, come on now. Come on, move on over. Let's get a little closer. Let's see. Now they can see you on camera. Now, what's your name? All I know, I just know you're Scotsman.
Kevin Dockery.
You're gonna have to hit me one more time.
Huh?
Kevin. Dockery. Dockery?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Okay, you're looking at me like I got it wrong. No, I got it right. Okay, so Kevin, what are you doing in Ireland?
Over for a meeting today.
Okay. Hey, as far as Americans, we think of Scotland and Ireland as pretty similar. What's the big difference? Is it a lot more mountainous in Scotland?
No, we love yous.
Well, they're very similar.
We love yous.
No, but I'm saying, is it high, more mountainous as a region in Scotland? It's more hilly in Ireland. This is called breaking the ice.
Scotland's better looking.
Okay, all right.
Scotland's better.
So what's the impression that the Scots have of Americans?
What are you laughing at?
I don't know. She's still laughing at my fat ass. She can't get over it in the potato.
I like Americans because Donald Trump's the man.
So you think okay? So there we go. Okay, listen. No, you can't walk away now. You have to stay here. You have to stay here. Stay in the pocket. So you said Donald Trump's a man.
As long as he keeps to his story. As long as he keeps to his story.
So you probably don't really even agree with him on everything, but you like. What is it you like about him that you say he's a man?
Because he's right. He's actually right. He's Scottish.
Is he Scottish?
Yes, he's half Scottish.
Okay. Do you think that's what makes him so bold?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think it's a part of it?
Yeah.
So when you were watching the election then, were you rooting for him?
I had him at 12-1.
You really did?
I had him 12-1. I made $6,000. I put £500 on it.
Did you actually bet on Donald Trump?
Yep.
Wow.
I made £6,000 off him.
Oh my gosh. Nate Silver, you lost to a Scotsman who had one too many. Nate Silver, the brilliant man who's ready to come out. Oh, Dara? Okay,
I did make $6,000, by the way. I did.
He made $6,000 on Donald Trump winning. All right, now he's got to go. All right, listen, I don't know. Like we said, this is the nature of broadcasting from a pub. This is the show. All right, let's bring him on here. I didn't mention the name of the pub because I didn't know.
It's okay, you did.
Oh, did I? No, but that was targeted, small. That's only to a small amount of people. So we can say, as you want to say. All right, he's been very, very nice here at Lucas Bar in. Am I pronouncing it Ennis? Ennis. Okay. Yeah. Were you worried at all when you heard we were coming over to do this?
No, I think I actually answered the request before I even looked you guys up.
Okay, well, and then your mistake.
Yeah. No, I wasn't too worried.
Well, you've been really accommodating here. Now, what would you say your perceptions are? I mean, working in a bar, working in a pub, most people in Ireland, their perceptions of Americans right now in this climate.
Right now, I mean, I don't think it's that easy to define it. I don't think you can put your finger on it as one particular brand.
Yeah.
It's layered because lots of people have their own personal connections with the US, actual family connections and cultural connections.
Yeah.
So it's not that easy to put your finger on it. Obviously, we get a lot of our information from the European media, from the Irish media, and a little bit of the US media, so that tempers it. But, I mean, Ireland has always been generally positively disposed towards the US just because it is like an extended family for us. So it'll never be entirely negative. I think people feel a little bit of ownership of the US. People here feel as though that when something they don't like is happening, they feel kind of disenfranchised.
They've contributed a lot to the American culture.
We certainly believe so. Yeah, we think they have. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Irish, the Italians, are some of the first waves of immigrants who came in and became Americans, and are actually some of the proudest Americans.
Sure.
To be there in that country. Well, let me ask you one thing that we notice when we even talking with people here. Even though we talk about the EU, Brexit probably won't happen with Ireland, there seems to be a strong streak of national pride. Some people call it nationalism in Ireland, but national pride in your country.
Sure.
we were just talking. We were at a breakfast place, by the way. Things open really late here, in case you didn't know, compared to the States. It was we couldn't find a coffee place open before 9. So is it just the breakfast
9:30.
locations aren't particularly ambitious?
Who wants coffee before 9?
9.
You don't have a coffee machine?
Well, we would not when we travel here, but we're sitting there like, no one wants to work that early. We were surprised. This lady, I said, what do you think about Americans? She said, well, we like Americans, all right. We fucking hate the English.
Well, we hate the accent. We haven't put the accent on.
I know. It's
Yeah.
not,
Well, that's like we can say that. In many ways, that's our word. That's our term. We can say that all we want because of what was done to us. But it's meant as a kind rebuff. It's like they are our friends who were super bad to us in the past.
Yeah.
Everyone who did that is dead, and everyone that did it too is dead.
But that was your greeting to Americans.
Yeah, that was your greeting to
We
Americans. That was
fucking
our
hate
first.
English.
That was our first impression of
imagine?
the Irish.
She obviously hadn't had her coffee yet at that stage in the morning.
Could you imagine, though, if you came over to the States and said, hey, what do you think about the Irish? You guys are okay. We hate Mexicans.
Yeah, I mean,
That would not go over well.
That is one issue. I think America that a lot of people we don't understand is if Americans have pride in their country, national pride, often abroad it's seen as being pious,
Really
it's
bad.
seen as pompous, it's seen as racist.
By extension, you'll find that you find it very difficult to find if you go to Britain. You'll find lots of proud Scots, lots of proud Welsh.
Yeah.
You find it very difficult to find a very proud and an outwardly proud English person because it is associated with triumphalism. So there could be a touch of that. I mean, it could be that you guys see yourselves as being triumphalist if you're running someone else down. The English, I know that they do that. I know that they feel that way. It's actually unfortunate for them. They can't to a full extent celebrate their own culture.
Do you think that because of that sort of browbeating and that guilt that they feel, maybe that's where, I mean, if you look at the younger generation, a surprising amount of them were pro-Brexit. A surprising amount of young people.
Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, you're taking these things relatively, right? For example, like when we say Generation Z is a generation below millennials, so the most conservative generation ever. What that means is if you look at baby boomers, who are now conservative. Yes. Actually, no. My dad
ended at like 63.
When they were young, they were the flower child hippies.
Oh yeah, but sorry.
So and they became more conservative.
Yeah.
But now, even at a young age, comparatively, they're much more right-leaning. And I'm wondering if it's because maybe they're separated from that guilt. Maybe a lot of young English people say, you know what, I didn't do anything wrong, and I like my country. I'm proud of my country.
I can't speak to that. I don't know. I would always have the impression that the opposite is the case. It's actually younger people in the UK, certainly, who are a little bit more aware of the evils done by them. I mean, they tried to take over the world, right? And they tried very hard, and they came damn close to it.
You kind of lost your number one draft pick with the United States, England. So sorry that got away from you. We did pretty well.
Well, I mean, we're doing okay too.
Yeah, Ireland did pretty well too. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that my impression is that younger people in the UK would have more awareness of what it used to be the British Empire. And Brexit seems to be almost like a grasp at the olden days, or the days that never even existed before, the golden years of their imagination. People kind of think they had this great empire where everyone liked them and they got along with everyone and they were all very rich, but they weren't. Rich people were rich.
Yeah.
Poor people were poor.
Well, I mean, how much of it is imperialist versus people who just don't want to be, like you said, we were talking about Germany with the EU, don't want to be footing the bill for other people, and again, don't want to be guilted and don't want to have their own policies and laws dictated to them. I think you see with Donald Trump as a symptom. When people talk about that. People were made ashamed to be American. People were made ashamed to be male, for a long time. Now you have campuses that are saying, check your privilege, check your white privilege, your male privilege. And they actually have courses to deconstruct and deprogram being a male in college. These are actual courses now. And I think that maybe the political spectrum, they've reached so far right now on the left. That's where you're seeing a lot of people like this, a rejection of it. Like I said, if you have 30% of young people who are leaning right, it doesn't sound like a lot, but compared to previous generations where it might have been 15%, that's a shocking amount. It typically, anyone before the age of 30 tended to be very, very left, and we're not seeing that anymore. And we're just sort of, as people who study sociology, as people who study kind of the human condition with the show, obviously with comedy, it's something that everyone has a different answer for. And it's surprising to hear different points of view in Europe.
Yeah, that sure is a hell of a lot of stats.
I'm using that as a comparison. I don't have the exact number on them, but generation, they call them Z, are becoming more and more right-leaning, and a lot of them, not right-leaning necessarily politically, but culturally, as freedom of speech.
And it could simply be a symptom of generations getting more right-wing, and then moving on to the next generations. It could be a cycle. I don't know that.
Yeah, it could be cyclical.
Sure. It could be cyclical. Yeah.
Well, like you said, final thing, you said people here don't really care about the political correctness. Like they like comedy to just be comedy. So that's something. Has that always been the case, or do you think again that's a rejection? Because in the States, it's gotten to a point where you can't say anything. You have people being fired for tweets that offend folks.
Well, there is the fact that we are still in the early years of a lot of social media too. So it's very different. That happens here as well. People don't know what to do with it.
Where do you buy an iPhone around here, by the way?
Where do you buy an iPhone around here?
In a telephone shop.
We didn't see any. We've been walking around. We haven't seen any.
There's entire streets in this town that do nothing but cell phones.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's like
Cell phones.
Missed it.
really. Okay. Oh, let's see it with the S and then a C.
Yeah, that was good.
I was looking. We were looking for.
We have an open mic night.
We were looking for Radio Shack. That was
Yeah,
our, that was our bad.
no, we didn't see anything. I mean, you'll go through these villages and you'll see, and obviously it's beautiful. There's a lot more history here than the United States, but we didn't see anything like a cell phone shop. So you have to go to the cell phone street.
In this town, certainly, yeah.
In this town, there's a street.
Yeah, they're out there.
It's like your jewelry district. This is where you want to buy your phone. And who are your carriers? It's not Sprint. Please tell me you don't have Sprint.
No, I'm not sure what you guys call Vodafone. I think they're Verizon, possibly. I'm not sure.
Oh, Verizon, very nice.
We've got Vodafone. We've got a couple of native ones. We've got like O2. I think I'm not sure. There's a bunch.
Well, listen, we know you have to go back to work in the bar there, but hey, Dara, thank you so much for taking the time. We appreciate it. This has been a very illuminating experience. Is this Dean coming in here? Oh, Black Donnelly's. Looks like the Black Donnelly's kid. So. No, we'll just keep this. Yeah, we'll probably wrap it. Do we want to? Okay, Dean, we're gonna have to wrap you really quickly. Dean will be like, no, you can bring him in. Bring him in. This is what happens when you're broadcasting and there's alcohol involved. People just come on in and do you want to take shots at my fat ass?
Yeah, no, thanks.
You sure?
Yeah, no, positive.
It's kind of been a theme going on tonight. So,
massive.
What?
It's massive.
All right, freedom of speech in Ireland. What do you think? Do you think that's under assault?
To a point, I don't agree with the blasphemy laws.
Blasphemy laws?
No, not at all. But yeah, it's very. Some things are kind of untouchable. You can't really talk about Islam without being ridiculed in some sort of way, or same with abortion, same with anything. You're kind of branded.
Okay,
put in a corner. Like.
We're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon. So let me ask you this: do you see that getting better? Or do you see people kind of waking up now? Do you see, because the truth is, we talk about this, Western civilization in Europe and political Islam are incompatible. That's just reality. Do you think people are going to wake up to it, as you're seeing that now with Ireland, or do you think it just bursts until Europe just kind of collapses on itself?
I think they have to cap on. Yeah. Do you know, I think they do. I don't know if you know, but I mean, the most popular baby name in Ireland at the moment is Mohammed.
Really?
Yeah. That was the statistic only came out there about a week ago.
You wonder how much of it is like self-perpetuating, though, where it's because they sell so many of the Muhammad bumper stickers. People are like, well, I know that if I name my kid Muhammad, I'll always have I'll always have it at the joke shop.
Always find the keychain.
Sure, yes. Liberal people that would do it just for the sake.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think do you think there's a general sentiment that people are concerned, or are most people trying to turn a blind eye?
In my immediate circle, yes. Okay. To an extent, but I can't handle the online stuff. I get too heated.
You get too heated?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Well, we don't want that to happen because you're Irish. When you guys get heated, which is funny because you should be able to handle your liquor, but you fight a lot when you drink.
I don't know, to be honest. Maybe a bit when I was younger, but not anymore. I'm very seldom now. I have 3 or 4 pints now, and that'll be about it. But if you catch me on a Saturday night, it'll be a different story.
3 or 4 pints for me, you'd find me.
Yes, you. Well, that's more so him playing possum. Oh, I hope no one tries to take advantage. And he lays back down. But
I'm just a simple little potato.
I'm just a simple potato. Okay, well, listen. Thank you so much for taking the time. And it is, we'll wrap this up here. We're here at Lucas Bar in Ennis, Ireland. They've been incredibly welcoming, incredibly kind. I still don't know that we have a ton of answers. I'm kind of surprised by people answering on individual questions, lining up more right, you seem to see, but then thinking overall, no, we're more left. And I think that might be the issue with Europe. I think there might be some cognitive dissonance. I think they might, I've had a pint right now. Cognitive dissonance.
How to point?
Yeah, how to point. I had 4 points. So, in Ireland that's called moderate drinking. So you can tweet us at SCrowder, at NotGayJared, and let us know what you think. What's the direction of Europe? A lot of people get really defensive. They get mad. Listen, I don't get mad when we say that the United States has issues, that we have problems. I want to get proactive and fix them. Seems like a lot of people, in Ireland at least, are looking to do that. Seems like some people in Europe are, and it seems like some other folks.
I think we're catching them in the thought process of a lot of these
The transition.
The transition.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of it's the beginning of the awakening.
It's the beginning of the awakening. That's
very,
where.
very small.
Yeah, well, who knows? We'll see what happens, and we'll see if in 5 years from now Muhammad is still the most common name in Ireland. That is scary. Think about that.
That is scary.
Think about Muhammad is the number one name in Ireland. Imagine that in Scotland. That would change all of Braveheart.
Maybe moms are just kind of lazy, kind of like what's his face, George Foreman.
Yeah, just have 8 kids and name them all Muhammad. I don't know.
That's it.
Listen, Louder with Crowder, live from Ireland. Like we said, we never know when we do these shows on locations, but we'll see where we end up next. And we're going to be going to the Santorum wedding tomorrow. That should be fun. Should be beautiful. Beautiful in Ireland. So they have that going for them, regardless of what else happens. See you next week.